polls. Because who are these random people that actually participate in them? I don't participate in them, so how should I believe that they're accurate? And also, polls can be skewed to back whatever opinion you want them to back. But today, I'm talking about a lot of polls, because sometimes you don't even need to take a poll to prove whether or not something is true. This is true in the case of one recent Gallup poll in particular. It found that in the US, the public approval rating of Congress has plummeted to 15%. As in, only 15% of Americans approve of the way that members of Congress are representing them. Why should anyone approve of the job Congress is doing when they so clearly ignore the desires of the people they are supposed to represent? For instance, another recent poll indicated that more than 90% of Americans support making background checks for gun purchases mandatory. Not sweeping gun control, just simple background checks. But Congress refuses to do that. Clearly, Congress isn't representing the American people on this issue. Clearly, they are representing the desires of the NRA, who spent $800,000 lobbying in Washington in the first 3 months of this year alone. Another poll indicated that 73% of Americans want to work toward a reduced reliance on fossil fuels. But you still see the government pushing forward with building pipelines and fracking and other fossil fuel-based endeavors. Clearly, Congress is more interested in representing oil companies who have spent millions lobbying in Washington than they are in representing American citizens. Another recent poll indicated that 45% of Americans say they would not be willing to give up personal freedom in order to reduce the threat of terrorism. But the American government constantly chips away at the freedoms of its citizens in the name of national security. They do it through increased video surveillance, legislation that allows the government to spy on citizens online, you name it. Corporate tax breaks, bank bailouts, endless wars. Congress repeatedly votes in ways that go against the will of the people. So whether or not you agree with the findings of the polls I've just mentioned, I think most Americans will agree that our government is more interested in representing corporate interests than those of the people they are sworn to represent. And no one needs a poll to prove that. Tonight, let's talk about that by following me on Twitter @TheResident.